Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Have No Sphere. Tonight we're going to be discussing the rise and escalation of false flag events across the plane. With us tonight, we have Full Armor, Mike, and Rob. Gentlemen.
Welcome.
Hello.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
It's going well. Great, James. Thanks.
Right on. So, Josh, as you just said, there's a lot of shit going on. There always is. Lately, it's really picking up. And a common theme, that we're seeing is these false flags. It's nothing new. Some of the biggest things in history were false flags, like when the Nazi SS admitted that Nuremberg, that the orders from the chief of the Nazi operatives, they did an attack on Poland so they could invade. Same as, nowadays we see the bombings, we see the Trade Center, we see the shootings, we see Sandy Hoax, all of these mass shootings, all of these mass hoaxes are coming together. And someone said something really interesting yesterday that stuck in my head. They are coming so fast now that it's really hard to do any research to dig into them. They're just flash mass attacks. So I thought it would be a good idea to put this together and go over some of the things that we're dealing with.
That's a great idea, James. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
So who's going to start?
Well,
I kind of thought James was going to jump right in, but
we
could
start. I mean, I guess we could start anywhere. I mean, we could start with the ridiculousness of the Florida shooting, in that this guy's firing a 223 rifle in a quad, in a really loud bar in the middle of the night, loaded down with ammunition. He has time to text. I mean, this whole thing sounds like a bad B-rated movie.
Great point.
I'm gonna text my wife, man. What do you text your wife when you're doing a mass shooting? Hold on, LOL. I mean, what?
Yeah. I'll just go back to a point James made with the amount of we're getting. The past presidents before Obama, a statistic come up where there was only, say, 16 mass shootings for Ronald Reagan's tenure, and then Bill Clinton and the both Bushes, and then it's come. So it's always around about the 16 average. 15, 16
per year,
and then Obama had shot up to like 170 mass shootings. Now, if, you can't have an average like that, and then it shoots up so violently. There is something major going on. They're trying to fool us.
Great point. Now, was that 16, Rob? Was that per year? And now it's jumped up.
I'm not sure it was the yearly. It was a few months ago I saw that. It might have been for the whole tenure. Had to be for the whole tenure, James, because the 170 mark for Obama must have been for his whole tenure as well.
Oh, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it couldn't have been the 170 a year. That'd be one every second day. We're nearly getting to that now, aren't we? But
yeah.
Have you guys ever noticed with all these false flag type style attacks? Have you ever noticed the same storyline over and over and over again? There's always a hero in the bunch. Ever notice that?
It's always a lone gunman too, a lone man, the lone man in the truck. It's always the lone man.
And,
you've got a mate beside him.
It's like it's like United '93. There of course, with everything going on, there has to be the hero. It's the same hero movie story we see over and over again.
No, you're right, and they need a hero. In the recent Florida, like we had Carlos Arredondo in Boston. He had the cowboy hat and the American flag waving it around. In Florida we had the big guy with the flag shirt, and he was wandering around, getting in between all the emergency services. Now he was just a drunk that's in the bar, wasn't he? And suddenly he's helping the emergency services help save people.
Yeah.
So I mean, in honesty, the emergency service would be telling any of the drunks to piss off down the road. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not letting any of those in the scene.
I was looking today at the flight data recorder of how United 93 crashed. And the story that we're told is that these guys were breaking through the cockpit door, which I still don't find believable. But even if they could, by the time the plane rolled onto its back and started to head towards the ground, those people would be weightless. It would be an impossible situation. It's like the guy holding the guy's artery closed. Give me a break.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's always the unbelievable story that everyone believes in every one of these little events. Yeah.
Well, they always pull on your heartstrings, and I think that's what has pulled these false flags, so far. About the whole space thing. Look at Apollo 13. The whole world had a hero complex for these guys, and every single deception we see, there's always a hero scenario. And it's
How
always
good was that movie? How good was that movie? I love that movie until I realized space was bullshit.
Yeah, it was an excellent movie until the jig was up.
Yeah. If it was true, that's a bloody unbelievable story, isn't it?
They pull you in with emotion every time. They'll use American kids, anything they can.
So, Josh.
Yes, sir.
You there?
I'm here.
What do you think about the last false flag, the one just after the club? Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here, but
Munich? Are you talking about Munich or Nice?
Munich. Now they've come out and said that the guy has no ties to ISIS. Is this part of the story, or is this what's your take on that?
My take is it's just more BS they're spewing out, and I tend not to pay too much attention to it, because one outlet's going to say he has no connection to ISIS, then another outlet's going to say there was, some vague connection on his hard drive somewhere to ISIS, and then another one's Alex Jones is going to say he's been secretly attending ISIS meetings and we should all be scared. I mean, it's all going to be different stories, and they're all going to switch, and it's going to be musical chairs until one theory gets pitched. They're all going to circle around the next few theories, and music's going to stop, then they're going to throw another one out. We're never going to know the answer until the next false flag happens. Then the music changes, and we all start a new game.
Have you watched the video of that Munich gunman? It's just a short 30, 40-second little video.
Yeah,
where he starts shooting, and the guy taking the video, he faces his camera downwards and runs off. So he starts shooting at the people don't fall over, but then the camera goes down. So it's just very, very similar to Nice, where they show the people getting hit, and then you go onto the video and you expect to see carnage, and all you see is a truck in front of a few people. The camera goes down, and then the lady, I think it's a lady who's showing that video, and then she runs off, and you don't see anything at all. And my boss is probably the perfect example of getting it way, way wrong. He come into the office because he knows what I'm on about, and he goes, "Oh no, that one was real." I said, "Oh, did you see people get hit by the truck?" And he said, yeah, blood and all. I went, oh, wow. So I got on the internet. I'm just trying to find what he's talking about.
Scouring for it.
I couldn't find anything. And that was the only ones I saw was where the truck goes past, very, very slowly, mind you. And they do speed up that truck too. I believe they speed up the video at the end to make the truck go faster. But there's a guy running beside the car too who also speeds up and could beat Carl Lewis over 100 meters.
But there's nobody. There's no footage of anybody, Rob. There's nobody.
No, there's no actual footage. And then we go on to the 45-second video of, I guess, someone's iPhone as well, and they're walking through the scene. Now, if you've got 300 dead and injured, and that's what they're claiming 80 dead and 200 injured, I believe. So 280 people. Now, they are strewn everywhere. So that 45-second video showed maybe 12, 15 bodies laying, 5-6 meters apart from each other. One of them looked like a pig. Dead set looked like with. Have you seen that one? Dead set looks like a pig. Little short legs, same color as a pig.
Do you?
You've got
Rob,
You've got yeah.
do you know what that reminds me of now that you've said that? Where are the towers? That's what it reminds me of. Where are the 300 bodies? Because I looked after you said, check out what really happens in an auto wreck. It is like a fucking,
Did you watch that? Did you?
dude, it is like a fucking massacre. Like one body could cause like liters of fucking mess on a road. Like it is, it is disgusting. So
yeah, that's right. I couldn't watch it. James. Yeah.
Where are the bodies?
Yeah, that's right. And there's 300 people. A lot of them would be laying on. Well, hey, most of them would be laying on the ground, and they weren't there.
The bone fragments would be everywhere. I hate to say it. The intestines would be everywhere. Skull fragments would be everywhere. They would be embedded in the streets. It would be all over the fucking place. Just imagine.
The front of that truck would have it all over I hit a kangaroo on my truck, and I'm washing it off for half an hour.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Getting the bits of kangaroo out of the front of me truck. That's what I'm doing.
Or a deer.
15 minutes
like in America, Canada, we hit a deer, we hit a moose. It's ours. It's ours.
That's right. That's right. It didn't even look like there was a speck of blood on the front of that truck, along with the bullet holes that's through the windscreen. What windscreens don't break after you've put 8 or 9 bullets into the windscreen? What windscreen wouldn't break?
Mm-hmm.
Come on. So that once again, that's just an obvious one. It's probably filmed in advance. I highly doubt that that's done on the night, that sort of stuff, because if there are real people at Nice and there's a truck going through, they all run away. Most of the people don't see what has actually happened. So you just need your core crisis actors there, 50 or 100 of them maybe, and then the rest of the crowd runs away thinking that's people have been hit. You might have a few people laying on the ground that are real, but that's the way literally. I see that. Yeah.
That's the oldest game of broken telephone, right? You have 100 interns and you have 50 sheep, and then the interns act, and the regular people think, "Oh my God, this is real."
And all these actors, they sign disclosures saying they won't talk. Well, that's the American ones. I've seen the application forms and stuff like that. When the form they have to, and there's a disclosure.
Do you think they know?
I will not speak.
Do you think they know, or do they think it's a movie or a training reenactment?
Hey, they must go home and watch the news.
I'm guessing there's multiple stories given with multiple groups, so not everybody really knows exactly what other people are doing. They think they're just part of the show, just kind of kept out of their loop, and they're just trying to the compartmentalization of information. Exactly. So everybody's kind of fed a different story, so that when they do it, it kind of creates this chaos because nobody really knows what's going on, and that's why you get all these conflicting reports and stories, and 4 different drills were being run and shit like that. There's just, I don't know. It's so hard to keep up with.
That's right. Like 7/7, if you remember and I'm sure, buddy, if many people are listening to this later on, they'll know all about what I'm talking about with 7/7 and the drills. They've got drills that are exactly the same as what their official story says. That's impossible. The same railway stations or tube stations they're just drills. 9/11, there was drills. There was drills at the same time with hijackers and planes being taken over, and they've got recordings of the lady taking phone calls saying, "Oh, is this a drill or is this real life?" And they say, "No, this is real," because they were in a drill you can't keep believing this stuff. You know, at some stage, you've got to say no, they can't be real.
But the only alternative then is to not believe any of it, and the average person just
but that's
has a hard
and that's where we're
time.
nearly at, aren't we?
Yeah.
Hey?
Well, no, I don't think so.
Nearly
I
where
think
we're at.
some of us
and,
are.
you know, it's shocking to say, but you know, you're looking at stuff now, and you're going, oh, is that real? And then you're picking for the things that aren't real. You know, you're looking for the things to make it not real, because you're already not believing that it's real.
It's a heavy burden.
Which is terrible.
It is. It's a very heavy price we have to pay for the knowledge that we have. I mean, I can't help it anymore. Everything I look at is filtered through this untrusting, thought. I eliminate everything. I don't see the positives very often anymore, because I know we've been sold a heaping pile of shit the entire time. So it's getting really hard for me not to put the gloves on and expect, what we've
and they
been given.
They smash them out, James, really, really quickly. So you can't keep up with the last one. You know, Nice has just happened, and then they try one at Munich. They're smashing them out that fast that it's really, really hard to.
They're guiding
people
us.
Are now they've forgotten about Nice. Now they're looking at Munich, and you don't spend much time on it. Where Boston happened, and there wasn't much happened after Boston.
No,
a lot of people were into that one. That was a really, really bad one. They did a bad job on that. That was the actors, and they did a really, really bad job. Very, very obvious one. That one.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the deal. I mean, the thing about it is it's the devil's in the details. The people that write these scripts, they don't know what they're talking about. And I've said this before, that do you guys remember the one guy that claimed that he saw one of the victims with a bullet hanging out of his leg? Yeah. Anybody that's fired a gun. No, these people aren't even thinking about what they're writing. I mean, it's obviously somebody who wrote this had no experience with a gun. And that's why they're so easy to spot. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
it's what a 2-2-3 round. If a 2-2-3 round would hit you, it's not going to hang out of the other side of a wound.
Did you see that? Did you see the dark guy that was in hospital after the Florida shooting, and he got shot four times in the back? Got 4 times in the back, and then he's I'm like, man,
Is that the guy that is wearing the arm cast and he's moving his shoulder?
His name was Angel, I think. No, that was another one, James. No, his name was Angel. That was the Florida one. The one I showed you yesterday. We might get Josh to show that one a little bit later on as well.
Yeah,
that one was after the Aurora shooting, the Batman shooting. That guy who was shot in the arm, where he had still reckons he had shrapnel in his arm.
It's like this one I saw that's recent. I can't even keep track of them, but
no, there's too many.
Yeah. So this one was a black girl, and she was quite large. She was very big, and she caught a stray bullet in her sweater, and it ripped through her stomach. But yet she's on TV, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but she's showing the clothes that she was shot in, and where the bullet hole was in the clothes was nowhere near where she was shot. I mean, it was just poor. Like, it was a stomach wound, but on the shirt it was done on the shoulder. Like, oh man, it was bad.
And did you see? I should get you to cue that. Have a look at this one, Josh. I might send it to you. The White House, where the guy walks to the gates of the White House with his gun.
Oh yeah.
And he gets shot. He falls over. There is no bullet hole. There's no
falls
blood.
Really slow.
It really looks like a training run.
Like he lays down on the ground.
Honest to God, looks like a training run. And then but I can also show you the news story where it's a real event. I showed it to a guy at my work, and he said, "That just looks like a training event." And I said, "Yeah." So then I showed him the news story, the American news story that went with the shooting, and yeah.
I mean, another thing, Rob, that you mentioned that's really, really, really a telltale sign of these things is the simultaneous drills in the area, and whether it's a month before, maybe a month or 2 before even, or a county away, but there's always trainings, there are always drills, there's always changing stories, there's always freaking you know, the main thing that I see is there's 5 shooters, multiple shooters, and then 2 hours later there's 3 gunmen, and then an hour later there's 1 lone gunman.
Well, the Nice attack, if the first I heard of that was there was a truck and there was a whole heap of other guys in the back of the truck shooting. That was the first story that I heard. And they were going down that little beach road, shooting innocent victims. That was the first thing I heard. And then it just turned into a guy ramming into the. There was a lone guy, and it always ends up being a lone guy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
you're right too, Rob. The 7/7 bombings in London were running drills of exactly that scenario in the same times and the same locations as the event.
That's right.
Right. I can also confirm that the Webster Tarpley documents from 9/11 clearly show that 46 individual drills that were posted directly related to the events that took place on 9/11 were a training exercise for the flag event.
Mm. Yeah, that's it.
But
so that leads us on to this Munich, where we might even get you to show the video, Josh, of what PK did yesterday, which I think is absolutely unbelievable. It's one of the biggest eye openers I've ever seen. Was the
brilliant,
the same reporter at Nice to Munich. So can we play the one, Josh, at all?
Did you send me that one? I didn't see one for.
Oh, it was the one we played yesterday. So you would have had that one.
It'll be the first one in core there, Josh, from yesterday. Yeah. You can just see it. And welcome, Hack. Are you there?
Yeah, I saw Hack pop in here.
Hi, Hack. I haven't met you before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should queue up that video, and then when you guys see this, I mean, it is unbelievable. It's just proof that these are written, and certain people can view, take footage, attend. You know, wait till you see this. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah, and a even bigger twist at the end there, isn't it?
A very interesting twist.
All right, I think I got it queued up. Whenever you guys are ready, I will start it.
Excellent.
Thanks, Josh.
I'll point out this
Roll that
video
beautiful
from
main footage.
Inside Edition, propaganda channel. The most heartbreaking scenes from Nice truck massacre. I'm going to skip 43 seconds in. We have all these people running away from this supposed terrorist truck. There's
play that one anyway. That's a good one. That's a good
Nice.
one. Steve with the crisis.
We got morons, disinfo morons calling out, oh, look at these people. How can they be crisis actors? Crisis actors, crisis actors. Yeah, surely not. These people wouldn't be crisis actors. Our heart goes to these people running away. You wouldn't be running away unless you were fair income and that there was a terrorist attack going on. You wouldn't joke about it, would you? Surely not. You'd be so serious. I mean, what's the point of running away? Unless, of course, you are a crisis actor. But no doubt, none of these people here are crisis actors, as pointed out by disinfo agents on YouTube. So, but I want to just point out these two people here in the middle. Very afraid, running down the middle of the street in panic mode. No way known they could be crisis actors because they'd be taking this seriously. Let's just play it and see what you think.
Her family is still waiting word of her fate.
Today, our hearts are with the people.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shut up, idiot.
Innocent men, women.
Okay, you didn't see that too clearly because Screen-O-Matic doesn't catch it too well. I'll download the video and I'll just show you those two people, how they were running and how they were fearing for their life and how serious they were.
Okay, let's slow it down. Look at these two running for their lives. They are running for their lives. Get the hell out of here. But it looks like this guy's pissing himself laughing, and so is she. Surely not. As we get a close-up view, look at that. Laughing her head off. Oh, come on. These can't be crisis actors. Look at them, laughing their heads off as they're running away from a terrorist attack. Oh, they're taking this real serious. Oh, they cannot be crisis actors. We don't have crisis actors in this event because this is a real event according to a lot of people on YouTube. Oh, but look at these two laughing their heads off. These two idiots are laughing all the way to the bank because they know it's a friggin' joke. A complete joke, a hoax, and yet idiots want to believe disinfo agents on YouTube who are trying to sell this off as a real story. If you want to believe them, you have got a mental problem. A real mental problem. So wake up, idiots. These people are laughing at you.
Yes, PK, one of the best.
So I know you guys couldn't see
have
that.
you got that other one queued up? Do you want me to send you that other one?
Which one?
The Munich shooting. I'll put it in.
Yeah, if you haven't sent it to me, I do not have it queued.
Okay, I'll do it again. I'll do it again for you. Now this one here shows the two reporters, the same reporter, sorry, at both events.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll put that in our little box, Josh. Won't take long. I've just sent you one. That was the White House one, Josh. I sent you that one a second ago.
I'm excited to see that one.
In
I
our
don't
room.
think I've seen that one.
I see it.
No, you might not have. You might not have. And this second one, yeah, that's the one that I wanted you to play. Sorry, Josh.
All right, let's play the second one first.
Hopefully you've got that now. You got that?
I got it. Now I'm going to play it, and you guys will not be able to see it the way I'm running it through OBS, but it will be playing for the viewers, and the people watching will be able to see the video. You will only be able to hear it because I'm not doing the screen share through the Hangout.
Right.
That's okay. I've already seen it.
You can't make this shit up, honestly. I just play this, you won't understand a word this guy says, but look at the name here, Richard Gutjahr.
Und am Telefon begrüße ich jetzt meinen Kollegen Richard Gutjahr in München. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Wo, Herr Gutjahr, befinden Sie sich genau in München?
Ich befinde mich etwa 200 Meter Luftlinie vom Westeingang des Olympia-Einkaufs.
That'll do. So this guy is reporting from Munich on this Munich shooting. So who is Richard Gutjahr? Remember this footage? Only not even a week ago in Nice? Who filmed this truck? Have a look up top. Richard Gutjahr. You would not believe it. There he is on a balcony on the Westminster Hotel at 10:30. Richard Gutjahr just happens to film this footage in Nice. And then less than a week later, he just happens to be at the Munich incident.
Jetzt auch per Smartphone wieder
There he is, talking to some idiot about the Nice event.
Wie haben Sie das erlebt?
Ja, es war.
There's Richard Gutjahr. Who is Richard Gutjahr? We'll get to that. We pointed him out before. We'll just keep going back to Munich now. If you Google Richard Gutjahr Munich, he comes up everywhere. There he is. Gutjahr, Munich. Gutjahr. Describe the scene. Gutjahr. Photos from Gutjahr. The picture was posted by journalist and blogger Richard Gutjahr. So he's all over the Munich incident. And apparently, I can't confirm this, he actually took some footage. Let's just see. This article would just go down. Apparently, I can't confirm this, that he took this footage here. If he took this footage across the street from McDonald's, that would be the greatest coincidence in human history. That this guy just happened to be there and take footage of this guy standing in front of McDonald's before he actually did any shooting. A guy who only less than a week away was in Nice. There we go. Local reporter Richard Gutjahr. Local reporter just happened to be in Nice 6 days ago on a balcony filming a truck going past because he's got a fetish about trucks going past. but now he's got a fetish of people standing in front of McDonald's. Like I said, I'm not sure. I mean, I just could not possibly believe that he took this image here, this video. But some are claiming it. I don't know. I've only just started looking at this, but go back here. Local reporter Richard Gutjahr described the scene at the shopping centre as something out of a bad movie. He's not wrong there. All of these hoaxes are all of these hoaxes are something out of a bad movie, because that's all they are. With the shopping centre completely surrounded by police, a helicopter overhead, and police carrying semi-automatic rifles. Gutjahr was not able to confirm reports of deaths or injuries. And in another article, let's just see if we can see more Gutjahr. A lot of these photos supposedly were taken by Gutjahr. Here we go. There's another one, Gutjahr. We got to assume that a lot of these photos were taken by him. So who is Richard Gutjahr? There he is, a journalist. He's a graduate at the German School of Journalism in Munich, and he studied political science and communication at Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich. What's more important is, who was this guy married to? Let's look over here. Einat Wilf, Israeli politician. Spouse, Richard Gutjahr. So he's married to a Zionist Jew, obviously got links with Mossad and Netanyahu and Israel. I've showed this in a previous video. Einat Wilf, there he is. Is an Israeli politician who served as a member of the Knesset for Independence. She was born in Jerusalem, studied at the Hebrew University School, but the most important thing, Wilf is married to German journalist and television personality Richard Gutjahr, the Mr. Everywhere Man. I get everywhere, man. I mean, I've known a few everywhere men, but by God, fancy being in Nice and 6 days later being in Munich and seeing for himself right in front of his eyes both of those events. You just couldn't write this shit. You cannot write this shit. So if you don't know by now, all these staged hoax events, that all roads lead back to Israel.
Wow. Powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
I mean, the Zionist connection was such a surprise twist for me, you know?
How many false flags have there been in Israel?
All of it.
So, yeah. Yeah, that was an eye-opener for me. What does everyone else think?
It's definitely an eye-opener. I'd be really interested to see how many photos he actually has out there. If we just started running his name through like an image search or somehow the metadata on photos.
Oh, yeah, let's look at the past. And maybe he's been their little insider for a while.
Mm-hmm. If we get his name out there, we could just totally make him go underground and have to get a new identity.
I think his name is a direct, jab at us anyways. What's his name? Richard Gotcha. Gotcha. I don't even believe it's real.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What do you think, Hack? With the Zion connection.
Have you seen that before, Hack?
No.
You'll have to watch it.
I didn't
when it comes out.
I haven't said I don't really follow false flags. I mean, I bet they come up, when they happen, but they're so convoluted,
Mm-hmm.
I just have like an input on it from what I think they are and what all that other stuff. But when it comes down to it, I don't think there's that many types. They're kind of either really doing something and then making it out to be all sorts of different stuff, like just spinning it, or they're doing stuff they couldn't otherwise do, and then, making up a really big excuse for doing it, like the Oregon standoff, where they had a guy, like you were saying, where they almost staged these deaths or murders or something. They get caught on camera and you can't see any blood and it looks all fake. Did you guys see the conclusion to the Oregon standoff?
No, I did not.
Are you aware of the event that I'm talking about?
I am, for sure, yeah. The ranch.
Did you see how it ended?
Did they not? Was it not a cheesy video like where they ended up shooting him from like 30 feet away or something?
Well, this Roy Finicum video, that one, is that how it ended though? Or is that just a shooting?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I remember the shooting. I just never. Once the shooting happened, I never heard how the actual standoff itself ended. I just knew that there was a shooting, and that there were people in. Huh. That was a pretty twisted video.
So go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I was just saying that was pretty twisted.
Oh, it's a trip because you don't know. You only know so much of it. You know, like what they did on. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they had a helicopter camera like on a car that was getting away, and they were just watching these guys leave because they were going to go, I don't know, get food or something in town.
Mm-hmm.
And they had done all the roads because it had snowed, and they basically just like done all the roads to make it a trap. And when they got to a certain point, they came around a bend. They were in a pickup truck, driver and passenger, and the guy they wanted was the driver. They came around a bend, and it was like a roadblock that there was nowhere to go because the snowbanks were like 8 or 12 feet high or something. And there was 3 cars there with the doors open, lights on, right in his face, guns drawn, pointing at him. The helicopter, policemen, and the helicopter camera up top, all the static and black and white, whatever. And so the guy really has nowhere to go. He kind of like. He's going fast enough that they totally timed it perfectly to put him in a panic position where he would have to go off the road. He does. And then he opens a car door and comes out kind of like just walking, like, what in the tarnation is going on kind of thing. Well, I mean, this is what it looks like. And then they just jump like right out with guns drawn right in his face. And he sort of just goes, holy shit, and starts reaching for his gun. At that point, the guy that's in view holding a gun on him just kind of like puts his gun away and walks out of the frame of the camera. And like while the guy is trying to get his gun out, a shot comes from the woods, shoots him right in the head.
There's actually a grand jury involved now to say that the FBI mishandled that. And Josh, I'm going to send you a video here. It's a 400 zoom and a slow-mo video of just what you described, Hack, where he's coming out of the car, he's got his hat on, he's got his arms up, and it's just showing that in very slow motion. Maybe we can now
this brings up a super interesting point to me because I just catch stuff when it comes on TV every now and then. I don't really watch TV. This thing caught my attention because I had just got into the law and had begun to disseminate like what they're doing through all that stuff. And this is a really good example because the essence of it is what we saw is something that's, I wouldn't call it like illegal. It's more like an unlawful act. Like they ambush and murdered an American on TV with police and on like a state, news camera and right in front of people's faces. Their story was or whatever. But that is what the end result was with that, like, anyone you talk to was like, oh, yeah, they just killed those terrorists. I mean, that's what you get going up against the government or fucking whatnot. That's what they wanted. They want you to think that they can just be like, well, if you jerk around and, like, go over there in the woods and try to set up a house, we'll just tell you to leave. You can't do that. And then if you don't, we'll just let you shoot you in the face. And then it's kind of square because we are who we are. That's that's the law, quote unquote.
That is a very, very bold move against survivalists and preppers in general.
Bro, this is where I think that the survivalists pushed it to them. And if you want me to be honest, it was false. Now, most everything you see on TV is false, so it's probably 100% false. But that video is sort of creepy, if you ask me.
It's very creepy.
A little spooky.
They must be real.
But, they're good at movie magic. We know that. Oh, well, yeah. Then they do the real events for sure. Like they were landed. And then they just...
You're breaking up, Heck. I'll be going.
So then... You just follow the news in your own area and see the real ones.
Yeah, you were breaking up.
But yeah, when I look at... Am I here again?
You are.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay. Yeah. So
And I should
that's
be
what it reminds me of. All these things is that they have multiple ways to pull off multiple objectives, but there's not too many of them.
I think they adjust on the fly. Any smart organization would, right? I mean, they've got this tip of the spear with 7 different directions and 7 main, plot moves that they want to push forward, agendas guiding us, and then whatever presents itself, they've got 6 or 7 alternatives to go. But I got to say, that's a brilliant connection you've laid before us here with the statement they've made against people who are bearing down and saying, okay, we're going to live on the land, we're going to survive, we're going to prep, we're going to be fine. That was a big FU to that whole system, right? That's big.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You just got to imagine that what they want to be able to do is have an armed standoff with Americans who are who are lawful. Yeah. Always key. And have the United States forces in standoff, clown forces, what are like badged up state patrolmen, whatever you want to call them, anything, alphabet boys, you name it. In an armed with like a publicly sanctioned armed standoff with Americans. That's it. They want to get people so that people will look at that and be like, those people are idiots, and they're the problem. Even if it never really comes to that, they're always sort of, going that direction, especially with the law, because the law really clears the whole thing up.
It does. And I think that even this attack against the so-called sovereign citizen movement, or preppers and survivalists, or anybody that would kind of fall under that Ron Paul supporter type MIAC report terrorist, has all been, again, propagated by the government, because they will then infiltrate these militia groups to try to push these illegal and unlawful operations so that the FBI can come in and break it up or not and let this shit get carried out. So that the FBI is perpetrating it, so that the FBI can point it out, so that the FBI can make enemies of us all. Yes, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I just wanted to stick my hand up, that's all. I just had a couple comments.
You bet.
The thing about the whole survivalist prepping thing that a lot of people don't understand is as soon as Obama signed in the NDAA, he, as president, can take anyone's supplies for any reason, legally. And secondly, before we start talking about law, the Japanese internment camps in the 40s were also legal. Just those 2 thoughts.
This is true. I think it could be argued that the United States has always laid claim to everything as it is. There are people out there that say that everything is basically registered property of the United States government being held in abatement, and we are enjoyed the use and the fruits of that, but ultimately the property is theirs and they can take it back at any time that they want. And this all kind of goes back.
Right. No, what I'm saying is the problem with the whole preppy movement is that they don't understand that the police could kick down the door and say, all this food that you have prepped, yeah, we're taking that. As president, that's property of the government, not yours anymore.
Well,
and that's when we talk about, the shades of law, it doesn't really matter because internment camps weren't against the law, they were legal.
Well, they were against the law. They were just legal. They were legal, but they were against the law.
Mm-hmm. Sure, of course, right. That's the point that I'm trying to make when we talk about, what's lawful, what's not. I think that's the wrong argument to be had.
It's not, because the president can't lawfully kick in your door and take it. Just because he signed a piece of paper, therefore makes it legal, but it doesn't make it lawful. So it doesn't make it a lawful move.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a catch-22.
Go ahead.
It has power if you believe it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's why they put this on television. That's why the whole act on TV is always flipping stuff around, making you believe that they can just shoot you in the face.
Well, that's a good point. See, and you know what? I watched the MSM.
They can't just shoot you in the face. Sorry to interrupt you there. And they can't just kick your door down. And they can't do any of that stuff lawfully. And the thing is the action point is that when people don't understand that stuff, you know, they just get walked on.
Right, exactly.
Do you remember the Boston bombings? Does everyone remember that? What happened in the aftermath of what the Boston police did after the Boston bombings? They went through door to door, going into people's houses, pulling them out of their houses, searching their houses.
Mm-hmm.
At all hours of the night.
Without a warrant.
That's what they did. Martial law, they call it. Yeah, so they find ways of getting around it. That was their practice. I believe Boston was a practice to see what they could get away with. And if you remember when they caught the two brothers, or the Boston public were in the streets, USA, USA. Remember them doing that? They're all happy.
Scary.
They're all happy because they'd just been in lockdown for a whole day. No one allowed out of their doors. Getting the police, armored vehicles, pointing guns at innocent people, and that was a practice. That was a practice to see what the American public would put up with.
Well, they have done things like that in the past, though. Let's not forget about 2005. You know, Katrina.
Exactly.
They went door to door and took all the guns. It's not a wide known story. Not a lot of people know, but tons and tons of guns and ammunition were seized in the Katrina.
Yeah, this is how the law works on the gun, right? Like, we have certain inalienable rights, meaning that we're just free, and that's that. No man can tell no man to do nothing. And then there was never a law written by the people that was like infringing a man's right to be armed. So according to the law, you don't need a license to have a gun of any kind for any reason, to show any man for whatever reason, and he has no reason to ask you at any point anyways. That's the law. So what they put on me in the movie That's Junk is to get everyone else to think that it's like, no, you need a license for a gun, right? I mean, just simple stuff, real simple.
And it's all definitions of words too. What a firearm is not the same thing as arms. So you can arm yourself with things other than firearms. You can have guns that aren't firearms.
According to law, the militia or whatever needs to be organized by the state has to be at least as well. It has to have the lawful right to be at least as well armed as the United States military, from which it would defend itself and its states' rights. So as much as the United States military has built up its arms, is how much right the state militiamen have the right to be armed.
There is a video, Josh, that I just sent to you. I remembered this very specifically. An old woman in her home was literally, brutally taken to the floor.
I've seen that.
During a gun grab. It's unbelievable.
All that said, I don't think they're ever going to go around grabbing guns.
You don't think they'll call the UN to try to do it?
Oh, I don't know. But everything's going to be kind of just odd at that point. I think it's mostly going to be kind of a media concoction, maybe, the whole martial law thing. Because, in the end, dude, if the Americans want a civil war, that's exactly what it's going to be. And I don't think they want that to, pop off. I think they might just try to be slipping the whole thing out, almost all the way. Just
interesting.
Now, again, my fear is just like everything else, that just because it's legal, okay, well, that's fine. Take more of my rights. It's legal. What can I do? Kind of mentality. And this is why I agree with Rob. I mean, the Boston bombing was terrifying in that people just gave up their civil liberties. Gave them up.
Well, civil liberties.
Warrantless house searches. I mean, the whole bit. And the funny thing about it wasn't even the cops that found the kid. They say it was the guy that went out onto his deck to have a smoke. It's unbelievable. They were just kicking down doors. It's terrifying to me, personally. And it was legal under the extingent circumstance clause, by the way. That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And let's not forget, firearms are already being seized. You guys probably haven't heard about it yet. But the people with mental illnesses or that have been declared disabled, their gun rights have been taken away. I don't know if anybody knew that, but The gun grab has already started. You just haven't heard about it.
Yeah, all that stuff is worked into Obamacare.
Exactly. That's right.
That makes sense to me
They're just
too.
like, they basically got in place right now the blossoming of a generation of people that just never really had access to guns.
Hmm. Which is
And
more like
doesn't that go for say you have one person in your house with a disability, a mental illness, so that goes for the whole household as well? Is that the case?
That is well. Here's what happens. I mean, it's fluid because I know people that have been disarmed. I have been disarmed, and I can tell you if anybody in your home has had any kind of mental illness, and one of the big questions is, has you ever been committed to a mental institution, which is kind of vague because anybody that's been sent onto a 3-day hold in a psych unit is flat. So all of those people now, because of the war on the mentally ill in this country that's fought every day, all of these shooters, if you guys haven't noticed, they're all mentally ill. You know, we're made fun of in the movies everywhere, and this is what's happening. So the gun grab has already started. It's just not being carried in mainstream movies. Oh, shut up. Sorry, I was ranting.
You should know that the guns that are on the street were put there by the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like they have control of how many guns are on the street and yada yada yada. The ones that they really don't, they just kind of like don't want it to catch fire. The idea that that's not lawful and we have no reason to think so.
And I wanted to take this time to point out the idea of 3D printing. And if anybody listening should just go out and buy a 3D printer and print off guns for you, print off guns for your family, and print off guns for your friends. Once you've got everybody guns, print off more guns and start handing them out to everybody. That's all I needed to say. Thanks.
That's interesting too. You know, there's a guy that was doing that already, and he was printing the receivers, the lower receivers, without numbers on them, and that's what he was making, and that's what he was selling, because the guys could go and then assemble a gun, and it was 100% lawful, and it was untraceable, and it was just because it was like having, I don't know, something. It was like Bitcoin.
Exactly. That's why I think 3D printing could very well change the whole game, especially with the government's legal control of guns versus man's lawful right to own them, regardless of what the government says.
So wasn't NASA making 3D tools up in the ISS? Remember that?
Oh yeah. No, how far are they along with it? That's something I heard about, and I've seen, the YouTube video where the guy's shooting a 3D printed gun. But are there many parts to it? And do you print the bullets as well? Like, is it like a big fear that anybody can just print a gun with a printer if they have the program?
I think for the people in the know, I'm sure you could probably go onto a torrent site and torrent the computer program for a 3D printer that would print out the parts for a gun.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I mean, that I can see. It's going to be manipulated. It's just going to be like a code, It's going to be it's digital blueprints. That's what we're talking about. It's all.
They'll want to keep track of the people that are buying the sort of material to make guns, then, won't they?
Yeah, good point. Yep. But how would they know? Because isn't all that material the same? Isn't it all the same kind of junk that you put in there?
Well, you can use different kind of materials. You can 3D print different things depending on, or different. What's the word I'm looking for? You can use different materials.
I'm not a gun person, so I'm not sure what your gun would have to withstand a certain heat, wouldn't it? So it'd have to be couldn't be just normal steel or anything. It'd have to be a good material to make guns, wouldn't it?
See, that's what's screwing me up, because I think they're making them out of different materials, though, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know if you're using multiple materials for the gun or not. That I don't know.
Okay, we're gonna look into this and come back to it another show. I have a feeling we'll have to look into it and do something.
Cue that video up, Josh. What's that? What you got playing there?
This is the one from New Orleans after the Hurricane Katrina rolled through. This was one woman's experience with the local police and the feds and what happens when you declare martial law.
Okay, this is new to me.
Well, I don't want you in here.
We're not gonna do that.
I don't want you in here, period.
But there's a mandatory evacuation.
I know all about it.
Well, Patricia Coney's protests were to no avail. They moved her out of there, and she is now out of the city.
It's contaminated with bacteria that you and I, even a tenth of what it contains, we would not be allowed to go to the beaches, let's say in South Jersey or in Long Island. So this is a big public health, and it's very risky for everybody around.
Yeah, but this woman she doesn't want to leave, and there's no reasoning with her. But what could happen if individuals stay in an atmosphere of fetid water? Are they going to get a disease, and will they pass that disease to others? Is that possible?
Well, 100% they're going to get sick. I mean, if they eat or consume any water that has been contaminated,
but they're going to
That's
say,
pretty
no, I'm going to
sickening.
boil my water, I'm not going to go in the water, leave me alone.
well, it just doesn't happen. I mean, the facts are the facts. Even if you boil the water.
And that's what scares me. It's like, well, when people say, well, they'll never kick down your door, unlawfully. Well, yeah, but they can still come in and demand these things, and people are giving away their rights.
You remember the famous photo of the Boston bombings, Mike? You remember the famous photo where they're across the street trying to get into a house, and there was a guy in an armored personnel vehicle out the top of it with his rifle pointed at the neighbor. The neighbor was trying to take a still video, I think, of the what was going on, and he's pointing the gun at him. Now they're all Americans. Yeah, and they USA, well done, yeah, good on yous. I find that unbelievable. We don't see that shit over here, eh? We don't. No. we don't see that shit over here.
I don't wish violence upon anybody.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't want to see people get hurt. But I mean, things are getting so crazy. It's like with this DNC leak that happened. I mean, it's kind of weird. You know what? I'm not going to go into that rant. Keep going, guys. My bad.
I mean, no. That's huge right now, Mike. I mean, I actually was calling for another event yesterday because I knew the leaks were coming out. And then Kabul happened, right? But that is fucking huge, those leaks.
Well, what I'm saying is I was watching Twitter last night, and some guy in Nigeria was saying, hey, Americans, this is huge news in Nigeria, and it's not even being carried on mainstream news.
Did you give him your money, Josh? Mike, did you give him any of your money?
No, I know. But it's like, he was like, this is unbelievable. We're getting news, and people in their own country, they're not even seeing this. This is going to change everything, at least on the Democratic side.
You think?
Yep.
Nothing. Not a peep.
Nope, it's not going to change anything. How is this worse than anything else she's ever done? How is this the worst thing that's going to bring the Democratic Party down? With what Israel's saying?
I'm saying, well, think about it. I mean, what's Bernie going to think, and what are his supporters going to say when they all finally figure out that Hillary was trying to down on this whole time? But I think the leaks also showed that she shared more emails that were classified.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is a big dump.
Listen to Bernie's campaign. He knows she's crooked. He knows she's not right. He knows. It's not like it's going to be a big surprise to him. And the fact that she's double-crossing and talking bad about him behind his back, it's politics. I don't. Think
it's going to be a big outrage amongst them. It's going to be a huge thing.
I'd be surprised.
Hey guys, if you walked around America right now and you took your own poll, do you think that half of the people would like Hillary? Do you think if you walked around to 20 people, would 10 of them say, yeah, I like Hillary? Do you think
not around here?
No.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh, just saying. If you did your own quick poll and you found that 10 out of 20 people liked Hillary, then it's the polls are probably right. You know what I'm saying? But are they fudging the figures? That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing that the DNC leak shows is that a lot of things have been rigged, and the DNC's in bed with the media. It is an unbelievable thing that they released, and not a peep. Not a peep.
The funniest thing, Mike, is and everybody is that Jake Tapper or whatever that guy is on I don't know, whatever. Anyways, when it blew up on Twitter, they made a statement saying that it would be 48 hours before the media would cover it. So Sunday, tomorrow at 9 a.m., CNN's going to do something on it. Finally, 48 hours after the thing was done. Like, how funny is that?
It's, you know what I also find really interesting, and I don't know if anybody has picked up on this yet, but isn't it weird that when the 28 pages is released, that's when the coup happens like an hour later?
Oh, that's not a coincidence.
And
exactly. There's no coincidence. No coincidence.
That 28 pages was full of shit anyway, I reckon. That's
yeah.
Nah. Still not buying that.
We investigated everything. Everything's fine.
Yeah, the Saudi Arabians did it now, didn't they?
All along.
Yeah.
They'll say Saudi
Arabia
Arabia paid for their housing.
Invaded Iraq and Afghanistan and all those joints, but
we don't want oil.
As if you want to believe there was hijackers in the first place. You know, that's what you got to get past that one first. And if there wasn't any hijackers in the first place, then those 28 pages are useless.
That's right. If the 28 pages had talked about the BBC's reports of the hijackers being alive and well and being interviewed, that might be something interesting. But saying that Saudi Arabia paid for their housing, I mean, I probably would have guessed that 10 years ago.
Did the 28 pages talk about the explosions heard out of Building 7 before it come down? The hours and hours before Building 7 come down, did that talk about the very audible explosions coming out of Building 7, you know? No, it didn't.
You know, it's interesting. What was it? 12 buildings were demolished that day, not just the towers in Building 7. I think it was
the entire
it was the whole World Trade Center. There was 7 or 8 buildings in the Trade Center.
Yeah. The whole.
Some of them look like they'd been melted from the inside. Building 6. Have you seen Building 6?
Oh, that's
probably even more telltale sign than the rest of them. Building 6 had the perfect-looking building around the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's only a couple of stories left on it, but perfect building on the outside, but with the inside hollowed out.
Yeah, it was like a little.
What sort of weapon would do that? That's just not the other buildings falling in on it. That's it's gone. It's missing. It's
from the inside out.
Yeah, it's gone. I don't know, vapor. I don't know.
No rubble, no debris in the bottom. It was just cored. They cored the building and took everything out of the middle.
That's what it looks like. Someone's got a bloody apple.
Left a donut.
Yep. Unbelievable.
That. I wonder.
May
when
I
we're
share
see that gun again, Rob? When are we going to see that weapon again? You think?
Hopefully, never.
Good answer.
But there must have been something going on there, Josh, with not just the thermite that we believe, that they found in the dust particles, but you can see the steel beams on a lot of those. On a lot of the footage, you can see the steel beams being thrown out sideways, which is a telltale sign for start. But it's been thrown out sideways, and they're disintegrating into dust as they're being thrown out. What sort of a weapon does that?
That was the most incredible footage I've seen in a long time. That is something.
I remember the next morning. It happened about 10:30 at night where I am, and mate of mine, he was watching it live. I think he was watching the news, and the late news, and it come on. So I got up to go to work the next morning. He was telling me about it. The things that run through your mind when you hear about that. And you because obviously it's on the news. I think I watched the American news after that for the next month, just trying to get all the information I could get. And I remember Osama bin Laden was nearly told. We were told he was involved nearly straight away, you know. And but the things that run through your mind, I remember the Chinese, I believe, were discussed as maybe the culprits, and you know, all the things. But I remember just thinking to myself, you know, bloody hell, this could be start of World War III. This.
Yep. I remember that too. I remember being so sucked into the promotion of it and the non-stop Fox specials and the just pounded with it. And I just keep thinking about that other thing you pointed out. I mean, isn't it amazing how we've each done so much research on it, and you know, the layers of it. I am so fascinated with all the layers involved in these types of false flags. Like, for example, the one idiot that you showed me yesterday that comes with the black hat, and he answers the question, and the guy's like, I can't tell you why I'm here. And
he was actually described as a Fox affiliate
really?
At the start of that video. Do you remember them saying that?
No.
Yeah, they didn't have his name up there, so I didn't catch his name. But a Fox affiliate who was directly across the road and watched the first plane go in there, and then he describes the whole scene and how it went down. He nearly got the official story
right
an hour after they fell over, didn't he?
Well, he's also the main man who coined the phrase "Ground Zero."
Yeah, that's exactly right.
5 minutes.
That's exactly right. And Ground Zero is a term they use for a nuclear explosion, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got that queued up if you guys want to watch.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be great.
Rick Leventhal was in downtown Manhattan when the buildings came down and has an update for us from Lower Manhattan. Rick?
Well, John, we're on Church Street at Reed Street, for those of you familiar with Lower Manhattan, just a few blocks away from World Trade. Still thick black smoke billowing from the scene where both towers collapsed. Again, just a few blocks away from us. We were standing out here on Church Street when both towers came tumbling down. And each time there was a huge cloud of smoke and debris that came roaring down this street, and everyone literally ran for their lives. At this point, the police have been efforting to establish a perimeter. They're trying to keep people back and make sure that no one interferes with their job, which is to try and secure the area and then get inside that World Trade Center rubble to see whether or not they can locate any survivors who may have been inside the building or just outside the building when it came tumbling down. We want to bring in Mark Walsh, who's a freelancer for Fox. You live just a few blocks away and witnessed.
Dude, I live on the 43rd floor of a building which is 5 blocks from the World Trade Center itself. I witnessed the entire thing from beginning to end.
People talk about how it looked like a movie. I know when I came walking down here early this morning and saw both towers on fire and people on every street corner, it was like a movie. But you watched the planes hit the towers.
I was watching with my roommate. It was approximately several minutes after the first plane had hit. I saw this plane come out of nowhere and just scream right into the side of the Twin Tower, exploding through the other side. And then I witnessed both towers collapse, one first and then the second, mostly due to structural failure because the fire was just too intense.
Obviously, there were a lot of people inside the buildings at the time.
From the 7th Precinct, the 1st Precinct, the fire department right here, the 7th truck, those guys are all right there at Ground Zero when those things went down. And God bless, I know there's a lot of guys there that were around there, and hopefully they made it out.
What was happening around you, in the streets around you, as this was all going down?
Absolute pandemonium. From my viewpoint up 43 floors, I could see people running like ants, just absolutely scurrying for their lives. Billows of smoke coming through the streets, just walking down the street, just pushing everybody back. And then several minutes after, it looked like it had just snowed over the entire area.
Yeah, the debris, the soot was thick on the street. There's still a dusting of it out here. But when I was standing here and the towers collapsed, we saw police officers running for their lives, screaming, get back, get back, get back. And I'll tell you, that's a wake-up call when you see cops running for their lives, and people too, women's pushing baby carriages, that sort of thing.
Well, you had the first tower first. That one, when that first went down, it just pushed everybody back, and it was a good 15 minutes before the second tower finally collapsed.
Yeah.
And it was just overwhelming, and by that point, it was just insane.
He sounds excited, doesn't
I'm
he?
hearing a lot of similar stories from people who were inside the building. One gentleman we spoke to earlier today, John, was on the 77th floor and said it was a relatively orderly evacuation at that point after the first plane hit the first tower. Everyone going down the stairs, not a lot of panic. But when they got to the 6th floor, he says they felt a second shake. And then people started to really be concerned. Obviously, there were people in the building at the time of this, and some of those people, they haven't recovered them yet. And that's a big issue right now, is trying to get the rescue workers and the emergency crews to the building. There were police officers there and emergency crews there when this was all happening, and they were right at ground zero when it all went down. So can we talk to you? What's your role out here right now?
I'm just standing by right now. Can't say what role I'm playing right now.
Well, there's a lot of standing by.
Can't
There's also
say,
concern that
eh?
some of these other buildings might actually come down. This building right here with the glass that you see, the nearest tall building, that has structural damage as well. We saw
That's
a lot
probably
of
enough,
glass
Josh.
broken out. And
even that guy at the end there saying that I'm not sure what role I'm going to play here. What the hell sort of statement is that?
He
he was like an extra, and they said he was like, "Are they going to put a camera in my face?" Like, no. And then
I don't like, hey guys, what I don't like with the videos such as that one is when someone makes one, they put words in there to tell me what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they showed me because you probably would miss things, but sometimes they do put things in there that might sway your mindset. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we also heard was that the only report of somebody seeing a plane from the ground was a guy who was obviously faking. He was acting.
Oh yeah, that was he was nervous. He was overacting, and he it sounded like he had rehearsed the details, but still didn't believe it himself, but was trying his best.
But how does he go home and sleep at night?
He's a freelancer for Fox.
With a big
how
pile
the
of
hell
cash,
is he?
or a dream of a big job opportunity, or a bigger role, or power, or a deal, something. They get something out of it. Despicable.
Absolutely.
How
They're
does
probably
that
like-
gobshite get on the television? How does that gob...
Sorry. At least we can laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hey, can we queue up that White House video of mine? This was the first one I sent you, Josh.
Oh yes.
Just
Good.
just to show you how pathetic they can be sometimes.
I'm actually really excited. I haven't seen this one. While Josh is queuing that up, I've got a quick poll. Predictions for next week. Do we think there's going to be another false flag next week?
More than likely.
What are the dates?
Would it be
What date is it today?
7:23. So we're talking 7:23 to 7:30.
7:23, yeah, probably.
8-1. What? Look for 7:28, 7:25.
I don't know. It's always a 23, 24, 25.
Seems to be.
Well,
27.
25. 2 and 5 would be 7, so it's like a 7-7, and 1 and 6 is 7, so 7-7-7 would be 7-25-16.
Oh,
Right.
there you go.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know if it's going to be the kind. We have to come up with a delineation between the kind that's real and real people die and they tell a lie about it or whatever, and then the ones that just don't exist.
Right.
I was on the radio talking about this, and Dave Glover asked me a question about an event that, say, truthers or conspiracy theorists claimed was a false flag, but later found out was not. Are there any that we thought were false flags, but we're like, nope, wrong, that was actually real? Or have we just been right 100% of the time? Are we just that good? Or have we missed some that were obviously real?
I just always ask first, like, did anybody actually really die? And then if someone really died, then it's like that. And if no one died, then they just made the whole thing up. But so then the real ones and the false ones, like, they're all sort of real and all sort of false. So, you know what I mean? Even the ones that are false can be intentionally false. And
the difference
between
like
they
if you're going to
plant
make
false
it real,
flags.
you got to sprinkle a little bit of reality with a little bit of fakeness, truth with a little, in there. They mix it, I think. They mix it.
They also plant false flags.
Okay, go on.
Well, they're like, they'll have a story where somebody concocts a news story and runs around like an idiot tweeting while they're doing something. And that's all orchestrated, to be a false flag. Like,
and I think that's what we're going to watch here.
Yeah.
That's what this video here, I think, is a false flag.
And then you have the ones that, like, something really happened. Someone died. And then maybe only one person died and they said 500. Or, like when they say a plane went missing, was that really a plane that went missing? Was there just no plane? Sometimes there's no plane. It never was.
I didn't even think there was a plane, yeah.
And then sometimes, there is a plane. If the plane went missing and someone died, I don't know. That's how I see it. I end up trying to look at it.
Well, okay. The who said it earlier too is that it makes sense that they don't even happen when we think they do. They're filmed earlier or the night before or something.
Over a series of years and then spliced together after the fact, produced into this show.
Drama, reality events that, I totally see that.
That could be. Who was just saying something about, did these people know that they're in like a false flag event, or they're acting like, how do they go home? Maybe they were just doing this 2 years ago in some other place. Totally.
And they'll think, wow, that's a coincidence. I did the same thing 2 years ago.
Yep. And then the cognitive dissonance will kick in, and they'll be like, nah, couldn't be.
Couldn't be.
Mine was for a zombie movie, or mine was for, not something else.
But you also have to understand, like, there's only, the population slice that actually watches TV is so small. Even though it seems huge and we all sort of see all the same stuff, it's very small.
The people that actually watch TV?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, like, there's 300 million people in America, and the Super Bowl is like, oh my God, everybody on Earth watches this. It's like 42 million people.
Really?
Yeah, like, when we vote and everyone goes, oh, we're all voting, it's, it's like, I don't know, 45% of the population that votes or something.
Well, we're talking about market share
120 million, 130 million instead of 300.
Exactly. So what they do is they just make like the TV reality, and they just control who they can't control in each and every little tiny group and demographic. That's market demographics. That's marketing and ad consulting. That's MK Ultra. That's what they do. They like figure out how to get the messages to somebody out there who's in that demo. Yep. And then all the other demos they just create out of thin air. They create people. We think there's characters of humans out there that don't exist. They're on TV and stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Wow, what a big eye opener though. That terms of statistics versus perception, right? I mean. America's huge. I think every household, you hear over and over, every household in America has a TV, so I think everybody watches.
If you look at the American Idol numbers, it's something like 17% of the population of America watches it. It's very, very low.
But that's a pretty small select viewership for American Idol. That's one time block on one night out of 7 nights a week for 24 hours.
Well, no, sheer numbers wise, it breaks every record.
Here too.
If you just you can watch the ones that go, this one's breaking the record. Okay, what was the record? Well, it seems like everybody is watching it. Like half of America is watching it. It's not.
That's true.
Mere percentage points. It's in the teens, but the people that watch Bill O'Reilly is in the teens in America at best. If he gets maybe 9 points, he's a billionaire. So they control you by just controlling who they can't control. Whoever's watching the TV, you kill your TV.
Still just market share though. 20% might be watching American Idol, but then you have 60% of the population watching something else. Yes,
no.
That's too high. That's too big a number. I mean,
You don't think that
Wage-wise.
80% of the
60%
population
doesn't even
watches
watch the
television?
Super Bowl.
the
Well, of
biggest
course
show in
not.
the history
But
was
that's
MASH.
2 hours,
Just look at the
one
numbers.
one night a year. So you think if they're not a football fan, they're not watching television at all? Or you think they're just watching something else?
We just look at the numbers, like the whole market share, the demographics of the possibility of how many people can be watching, and the biggest possible event that goes on is that. I mean, all the TVs are on. All the TVs are on the Super Bowl. If you go out there to the Super Bowl and you go anywhere in America and there's a television on, it's on the Super Bowl. And then you turn on the Nielsen ratings and it's like, a very small percentage of the population of America, of even the TVs. It's not of America.
Look
Right.
at it this way.
The
wasn't
population
the
of
biggest
televisions
show-
that are on is pretty high. Sorry, go ahead, James.
Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was just going to say that the percentage of televisions that are on in a household on any given day is pretty high.
In America, period. You can add up all the TVs that are on and estimate what sort of percentage of the population is paying attention to the Super Bowl during that time period. You can figure it out. You can figure the slice. That's why they do it. They're trying to figure out how many people they're controlling, and it's not that big of a slice. They just make it seem real big because oh my goodness, all these other millions of Americans, and it's just really TVs and all these other multiplied numbers.
So what do you think a percentage of the population of people would have a favorite TV show? You think it's still only 30% of the people have a favorite TV show? Or you think it's probably more?
No, I think it's less.
You think it's less than that?
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you.
I mean, when you live
the
in
people I know,
Go
if I
ahead.
were to poll just anybody on the street, half of them watch TV enough to have a television show that they watch, at least try to watch on a semi-regular basis. Whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever night of the week it is, whatever time of the day it is, there's a TV show that they've seen on that they try to watch. And I bet you that's 80% of the population. Pretty high, I'd say 20% of the population doesn't watch TV, doesn't own a television, wouldn't watch television.
How many?
Maybe 20%.
I mean, that's a fair number.
So that leaves 80% of the population watching television.
At some point, yeah.
But the point is still valid, though, Josh, because if you actually, if you think the bigger picture, the biggest ratings of all time were so much less. The biggest shows in the history of the world were so much less than the American population.
It's like the Twitter trending thing. When
Because
you see
other
something
peop-
trending, you go, dude, there might be 22 million people are talking about such and such. It's like 7,000 tweets. It's just never that big. And the numbers bear it out. The way the statistics bear out of the Nielsen ratings is sort of like, it's just a slice of a slice of a slice of a slice. And then you have all these people out there that, they aren't getting it, but they're in the boat because the people who are grabbing the steering wheel are watching TV. And you can look at that in any way, politics, economics, the dollar, retail, all that kind of stuff, right?
No. I mean, there's a reason that Anton LaVey said that the TV was the biggest tool to reach, to enslave mass people, mass deceptions, right? Or whatever he said. Something very similar to that. But that doesn't mean that they're not pushing other programs and agendas through people, through word of mouth. Josh, I agree with what you're saying. People are talking about shows, they're talking about TV, they're watching it, they're downloading what they want. I mean, the rhetoric around it is huge. There probably isn't a lot of people that haven't, don't have something that they enjoy or don't have a movie or a show that they like. But I as a whole, it's just, I think it's just what you're saying, a control mechanism for the people that subscribe to it.
It's been made real accessible to TV. Used to be you had to, be home on time and be in front of the TV, and that was it. It was gone. And now it's, you may not be a person who watches that much or wants to watch that much TV or to be required to sit down, and you can probably have a couple favorite shows now, whatever they might be. So yeah, it's totally more accessible. More people are probably watching TV more. It's way more accepted. Remember when we were kids, it was like, dude, stop watching TV. It's gonna rot your brain. And now it's like, watch it on your phone, watch another thing, watch it on always watch it.
Indeed.
And my parents
And it's
would tell me
wireless.
that.
Yeah,
but
take
then
it out to
they'd
your
come in-
backyard. Go ahead.
So like I said, my parents would tell me that the TV's going to watch your brain, don't watch so much television, but then they'd turn on the nightly news and watch television for the next 2 hours.
Totally.
Yeah.
As if that's going to somehow make it better.
Well, and then it passes on. I'm guilty. I mean, I watch TV. I watch the news. I know it's bullshit, and I still watch it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
guilty.
I think we have to come to grips with the fact that there's actually something that feels like there's a sensation of TV watching that feels good.
Absolutely.
They hack the
100%.
shit out of something neuro that is, like a dopamine and serotonin.
Alpha
zone
waves,
out.
beta
Oh, yeah.
waves, they put us in that state. I mean,
It's way too easy to be accidentally watching TV. How many times did that happen to you in your life? Oh, I'm just going to look at this for a second. Oh, wow, now I'm watching something.
My favorite example
3
is little kids. Plop a little kid down in
Yeah.
front of a television and see how long it takes for them to just sit there with their jaw hung
Yeah,
slack
yeah,
open,
yeah.
eyes glazed over, just staring at the box on the wall. I mean, they just
You can
totally go into
give that kid
hypnotic
horse
state.
tranquilizers, every day, trying to get him to stop and sit in one place. And you just put him in front of a TV, and all of a sudden,
That's it.
his little mushy brain is just drinking.
Yep.
That's what I think the real danger of television comes in. It's that
Oh,
flicker rate.
sure.
So they can put whatever the hell they want
I
on
mean,
there.
there's 2 ways too. I mean, it's not just a TV; it's more of a watching device for them. I think now they just turn it on and double look backwards, right? Because all TVs are connected to the net, so they just hack that and they record and watch, and they can do way more than we think they can. Way more.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, are you still there?
Yeah, mate.
Right on, right on. I think we lost Michael, but if you guys want to keep going.
How about we queue up that White House video because you're eager to watch that one.
Oh yeah, we keep getting distracted. I want to see it. Yeah, very bad.
Well, stop talking all the time, mate. Jesus.
So this is going to be the great example of how you start a hoax, or what a false flag would be.
And thanks to David Weiss. He's great. I love him.
Yep.
Love the music. Where's the blood? The guy at my work said, he probably had a bulletproof vest on. He probably had a bulletproof vest on.
Nope,
That's what it looks like to me, a bulletproof vest.
Look at his belly hanging out. There's no vest. Well, maybe.
Yeah, there is. It's like a hairy belly button there.
See, there's a little something under there.
No, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
There's something.
another person at my work said, he might have had a blood pack. And he was, because you can see him looking down, and was he trying to burst a blood pack?
Looks like it.
He
Kept pulling at
doesn't
something.
even look like he's in any pain there. Look at his face before they roll him over.
All right. Now, I want to go back and look at something. Here's what I was watching. Look at the other 3 guys and the way that they dance. There's the black guy that comes out. He doesn't even have his bulletproof vest on all the way. He just got it over his head. The Velcro flaps are still flapping in the wind. He's not even wearing it properly. It's just kind of on. And then watch the way they move. They're just kind of moving around. Kind of like they did at Sandy Hook, the way the parents would just kind of mill around in the circle and go back in, but never really do anything. That's what these 3 cops coming in are doing. Don't pay attention to this. Watch these douchebags come around the car. Look at these guys. Look at I swear that this guy's not a cop. Bullshit. He's just in the way.
Did he just back into his other cop?
Yeah, he's just in the way. This black guy is just in the way. I don't even know what he's doing there. I'm gonna watch that again. Sorry, makes me giggle. The Keystone Cops come running up. It's my shot.
man.
No, it's my shot.
And then it was like, yeah. It was almost like, see how this view here is?
Mm-hmm.
What their feet are doing in this view is making it seem like there's a whole lot of, if you only saw like their sides, their feet, it would be a whole bunch of hustle bustle going on.
There wouldn't be police full time at the White House, would there? There'd be the security there. There wouldn't be police like that.
I don't know why
Because they were proper police cars. They were proper police cars to intervene there.
I'm sure they have Metro Police. DC Metro, I'm sure, has police.
Secret
At the
Service.
gate? At
Secret
the gate
Service
there?
would be on it first.
Well, you know, like DC Metro would be like Rome, or they'd have to be
Exactly.
like DC police, right? And they would have all the jurisdiction over everything.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be
Yeah,
any
I mean,
reason why they wouldn't go in.
That guy there just walks. They don't know he's coming. He just gets out of his car, whatever he got out. You don't see that, but he just walking towards. So what I'm saying is there proper police at the White House gates 24 hours a day in police cars with vests on 24 hours a day as their coppers on the ready to do exactly what you just saw there?
No, and
I have no idea.
I don't believe so.
I can't even.
There's got to be
confirm
somebody. I don't know.
That's
if
a White House
police.
gate.
There would be security. There would be people with guns.
Secret
But
Service.
Would there be police cars there 24 hours a day? That's what I'm saying.
When I was in the Marine Corps, my MOS was an 0300 uniform Victor, which was basically, they called it a glorified grunt. I was security forces, and basically all we would do would stand. We're the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps wearing dress blues, standing in front of Air Force One or Air Force Two. We're the ones that are protecting all the missile silos and all the nuclear reactors and shit.
You
like
lucky
that.
dog.
Well, I didn't stick to it. I got out of there pretty quick, but that was essentially what my MOS was. So they would be standing at the White House gate. You would have Secret Service probably at the White House gate.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know that that's the White House gate. I mean, it definitely looks like it's a gate.
Yeah, it would make more sense to me that they wouldn't be anywhere allowed. They wouldn't be allowed near the White House. Like, I don't know.
If anything, this looks like it's on the inside of the gate, not the outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the grass. Well, I guess maybe. But it doesn't look like that's the White House lawn. That looks like it's a sidewalk.
It really looks like a training exercise to me, guys.
It does, too.
Yeah, exactly what it looks like.
Oh, and
Training
that's
exercise.
Yeah, I mean that says United States Secret Service on the car, so there's no way.
There's police.
But then look right below it. United States Secret Service.
I can't see it on my screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take a report.
Yeah, me too. I can't read it on my phone.
But even then, a Secret Service going to be at that gate 24 hours a day. I can imagine trained people being at that gate, but would they actually? The Secret Service, they're a special bunch,
of course,
on their own, aren't they?
Well, I've never seen.
They're investigators. The Secret
police.
Service are investigators. They're not guys that you're gonna go pay to sit at a checkpoint, are they?
Well, at the White House, maybe.
Maybe.
Think so?
But I've never seen police Secret Service. I've only seen Secret Service.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. I wanted to talk about before we keep talking about these flags things. I wanted to share the only thing I have with these things. You were saying you were in the military. I was too. We used to go to Fort Polk, Louisiana, and do these joint training exercises that were like a couple of different weeks to play laser tag, where they put like lasers on helicopters, lasers on tanks, and basically like have a fake war. But for some reason, in Louisiana, it was absolutely horrific. It's not, I don't even like talking about it. But one of the key things was urban warfare, and they would have like crowds, they would have the actors, and there would be scenarios, and there would be a lot of like from the actor, like like they would think of us as like an actor behind stage. There'd be a lot of movement behind stage, a lot of work. Like it was just horrific in our time, but then there was always a time for like the battle to start. And the battle would start 24 hours. it would be a 24-hour battle, and there would be you'd be like doing something in the city, and it was actors, and there was civilians, and there was oversight people. Anyways, it was like a big old stage thing. In the end, we were really reacting on live, but it was held together by the overseers people who were basically working through the people who were doing the instigating, or the civilian actors, or all that other stuff. And they would have cameras, and they'd be running around. And every time I see one of these false flag things where they're like running the camera down the street afterwards, and it's just pretend, and you can tell it's pretend.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly what it feels like and seems like. But you go back to this stuff in the military where this is what they do year round, is sort of like train their troops to do this sort of thing. And then when we see it on TV, it's, you should put it together, I guess. It's so much acting and so much atmosphere to it that everything's orchestrated like almost like a play, but like a movie with a TV camera, the news, everyone's sort of acting, building drama. There isn't any part of TV that's real, so anyone that's up there is in on the game and knows the shtick. So it's all acting. And so then by the time they're doing stuff in the streets and filming it, that's all acting, and they have all the editing down and they put it up. That's why it matters to me whether someone actually died or not. Because when they start killing people for certain things, stop move people's ideas, sort of like prep people, but it's just propaganda. When people really die, that's when you know. But other than that, these things, they all remind me of the acting that I used to do. And it was all like, looking back now, it was probably alphabet boys going through training, learning how to instigate, learning how to react to troops and guns. And, we thought we were training, but they were training too.
Mm-hmm. So that brings me to James. One of the false flags you had mentioned before at one time was the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Now, this is one of those that has so many layers that I think are really interesting. That'll bring us right back to Southern California. It's okay. So that's one of those that we could call a legitimate false flag, maybe one where people actually died, not necessarily a hoax. Where it's
58,000 American soldiers died during the Vietnam War
as a result.
Josh. So yeah,
exactly.
So, and the American public were fooled into thinking that the North Vietnamese fired a torpedo toward one of their destroyers. Didn't hit. I don't believe it. I'm not a connoisseur in the Gulf of Tonkin incident, but I believe that it was they were fired upon, or they told the American public that the destroyer was fired upon by a North Vietnamese submarine or destroyer as well. I can't remember the incident as well, but they told the American public, and once again you get the American public on board because they think the Americans are being shot at, and away they go. Don't they? And look at the way that the soldiers were treated when they came back. It's disgusting on both points there.
Agree. I mean, let's face it: major wars, major invasions, major strategic and military, paramilitary moves were made under false pretenses.
And I might mention I think it was 1 million Vietnamese were killed as well, weren't they? The 58,000 soldiers of ours, Australian soldiers as well. Mm-hmm. But the countless Vietnamese that were killed as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's what was interesting.
And all that sort of stuff.
About the Gulf of Tonkin incident. So I think the commander of the ship that was fired upon, supposedly, was kind of falls in line with this basic structure of so many stories that we delve into when we study this stuff. So he's an officer, a military officer, and he has a child. So you involve this military officer in this kind of false flag, and you kind of get leverage over him. So the commander of the vessel in the Gulf of Tonkin and his son end up moving to California and living in Southern California. I don't know if he was probably
Is that
stationed.
Captain Herrick guy?
Don't think so. Nope. His last name will be very recognizable because of his son. His son made the last name so recognizable, and the things that he did out of crap. What's the canyon out there that put all the music out?
Oh, wow.
The Tavistock Institute, set up right next to an Air Force Base installation right there. See, now it's gone. Anyway, that was Jim Morrison's dad, was the commander of the vessel in the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And this is where we get into music as a weapon. And the Tavistock Institute and the CIA and MK Ultra and all these things that came out in the late 70s trying to derail this whole anti-war movement, and this is where the LSD came from, and where not just Jim Morrison.
That's actually when the first flat Earth movement came out. Then, hey, I mean, well, not the first one, but I mean, that's what happened. They started the moon program, right? Because people were waking up to it in the 60s when they were experimenting with all these, social branding schemes, and like you're talking about the Tavistock Institute and all of those mass, I think, control programs started coming out, Josh.
Yep. And you see things like Ken Kesey and him doing his trip across the U.S. while everybody drops acid so he can write a book. And all of his connections to the CIA and all the connections to basically any major name in the LSD movement you can think of has connections to the CIA.
But
so everything from Jerry Garcia to, fucking everybody. No, sorry, go ahead. Just that whole music scene.
I was going to say,
co-opted.
Since you brought it up, is there a lot of people involved in the music industry that had military fathers?
I've noticed it seems like that for people that tell their story, a lot of them had parents, typically a father that was an officer in the military. Just think back to James Holmes. His dad was an officer in the military. There's a lot of these guys. What's the one crazy guy the Mars traveler guy? Because his dad was an officer in the military, and that's how he got started in his Mars traveling, was doing...
Wasn't there a whole bunch of them that were all on the same base or something, too? Like coming out of California, I thought.
Yeah, I think they were all traveling together. These are the guys that that went to Mars with Barry Soetoro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they all traveled to Mars.
I subscribe to Barry Soetoro. Actually, he's quite good. Go on, Josh.
No, I was going to say that's just, Barack Obama. This is guy is saying
that
Barack Obama and he traveled to Mars via a jump room. But his first experiences with jump rooms were with his father when he was traveling in the military. And that's how he would get across the country, is they would go on the East Coast and make a jump to the West Coast. And that's how he got started.
Is that was that portal talk again?
Basically, I think essentially that would how I would describe a portal. I mean, they were describing it as rooms, as elevators. So it was kind of like he stepped into an elevator, the doors shut, he felt a sensation, and when the doors opened again, he was somewhere else, like literally across the country. But that was
fascinating.
That was pretty the early stuff. Later on, he said they could do it. They could basically make them transportable, and they could just put them on any wall. You know how in the cartoons they would just take the paint and paint a door and then go through the door? Mm-hmm. They said basically that's what they were doing with these jump rooms now, is you could just you could place the portal on the wall and then go into the wall and jump somewhere else.
Too many movies have been made about it too. Hey, it's obviously something viable. Like look at Jumper. Look at wow, there's so many books, so many things on it. I think everything that we think is unique and fantasy, like, is actual real. I mean, look at it when you go back and look at shit like the Nephilim, right? You think, oh, they're these bull, half Taurus, all these legends. It's actually real stuff that we can't comprehend. So, like, jumping to a spot on the wall could be very possible.
Yeah, and then basically what I just did was exactly what I wasn't supposed to do, which was take us off topic. So I'm going to try to pull us back to the false flags and see if we can't focus a little bit more, or maybe wrap it up a little bit. I think we've been going for a little bit, haven't we?
I would say so. I mean,
I think so. It's probably been a couple hours, I bet.
Yeah.
And I think
time flies, doesn't it?
It sure does. But I think it turned out really well.
Yeah.
Oh, I just see we lost
we
Hack
can wrap
too.
it up if you want.
All right, we might as well, since everybody's falling off one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right. Cheers.
All right.
That was a good show.
That was awesome. Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
guys. It was another great episode.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Bye.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Great day.
You too. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye. So I thought that went rather well. Please forgive us as we still working out all of our kinks. We may not be the smoothest yet, nor the most well-produced. I'm definitely not the most educated, nor the most well-informed, but we do appreciate you watching Have No Sphere and or tuning in. Oh, look, it's Hack. Hack is back.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi, I think it's just us, as far as I know. We had just basically kind of wrapped up. I noticed everybody had fallen off. Mike fell off, then you fell off, and we just kind of decided to... We kind of drifted off topic.
Worries.
And, yeah.
All right. Good deal.
All right, awesome. Thanks for coming in again. That was awesome.
I appreciate the invite. We'll do it next time.
Sounds good. Yeah, anytime. All right. Everyone else has left the call. There we are. So, thanks for tuning in. Question everything. And have no sphere.